Anita Ross here, author, speaker, and life coach. I am bringing you this week's workshop, The Art of Trusting. I love this topic because trust plays a role in basically every area of our life, whether it's intimate relationship, in our friendships, in our career, in our spirituality. It touches on every area. And so when we talk about the art of trusting, we're talking about not necessarily your ability to trust, but your willingness to trust. Because as we move through life, we unlearn how to trust. Yeah, would you say? So let me start by just giving you a definition of the word art. And so that you understand really why we're talking about the art of trusting and not just how to trust or the power of trusting. The art of trusting, I use that word because art means it is a skill at doing a specific thing, typically one acquired through practice. Let me say that again. Art means a skill at doing a specific thing, typically one acquired through practice. Now, why do I use this as opposed to, like I said, the power of trusting or our ability to trust? I say this because as we move through life and we get disappointed, if you will, or we somebody breaks our trust, if you will, and we'll get deeper into what all of this means, but we learn or unlearn how to trust. We unlearn how to trust because it hurts when we don't have our expectations met. It can be super disappointing and be frustrating. And so our willingness to trust gets lower and lower, diminishes, if you will. Does that make sense? So let me give some examples to really paint the picture. If we are in an intimate relationship with someone and perhaps they are not faithful to us, they go outside of the relationship, that breaks trust, right? Let's say your partner harms you in some way, in a physical way, right? Because, being unfaithful is also harmful. It's painful. But if they harm you physically, that breaks trust, right? Now I don't feel safe. I cannot, let my guard down, if you will, because I've been physically hurt, emotionally hurt, right? That's a break of trust, right? Some other ways that we get our trust broken is through parental relationships, right? As a child, we depend on our parents to tend to us and take care of us as we're growing up. And that doesn't always occur. It doesn't always happen that way, right? And so we might learn very early on from childhood that we can't trust the people that are in our lives, right? Parents don't always know the best thing to do to show love to their children. It's unfortunate and it's sad, but it occurs. And so as a child, if they are hurt, like abused or abandoned or don't receive the food that they need or the things that they need in life, that teaches a child how to not trust. Let me give you another example, one that I have come into contact, as I've gotten older. More of my friends have had this situation where, we tend to our health. We're consistent. We go to the doctor. We do our annual checkups. We do all the recommended tests that, doctors say to take based on our ages, this, that, and the other. And then we get a health diagnosis that is completely devastating or out of what we even thought was possible for ourselves because we take such great care of ourselves. That breaks trust, right? So if this belief of mine is that if I take care of myself, everything will be fine with my health. I will grow older and I will thrive. But a diagnosis, a health diagnosis or a medical diagnosis that is challenging breaks that trust, right? It breaks that belief and crushes it, if you will, depending on how devastating that diagnosis can be. So those are just some examples of how we move through life and we get information and experiences that support us in unlearning how to trust. And the premise, of course, is that when we're a baby, when we're first born, we trust. Have you ever seen a baby just wail and just know that food or milk that they're wanting will come? Wail and let you know that, somebody's going to come change this diaper, or somebody's going to come hold me and tend to me and love me. One of the things that I think is highly debatable and has evolved over time is that this idea that when a baby cries, they should be picked up, right? A lot of parents believe that when a baby cries, if you pick them up, then that spoils them. And then a lot of parents also believe that you are to pick your child up when they cry, a baby, right? When they cry, because it teaches them that they are safe, that they are loved, that they can trust that they will be well taken care of and tended to. Okay. And I was one of those moms that picked the babies up. And interestingly enough, my children are super independent to the point where when I've dropped them off at school when they were in preschool, they were like, bye. What are you still doing here? I come to pick them up. The daycare or the preschool closed at like 6. I'd come and pick them up at 5, and they're like, wait, I still have an hour. They would run from me. And at first it was quite devastating. But what I realize is that I've created an environment where they feel so trusted at home and, so well taken care of and safe that they can trust that even when mommy drops them off at a preschool, they're safe. That's powerful. Now, of course, in addition, you also want to teach, safety rules for children so that they're not just feeling safe anywhere where perhaps it isn't safe. That's a different issue, right? Having the discernment to maintain their safety. But as far as trusting, I believe that picking that baby up does support them in building that trust muscle, if you will. Okay. Now, why is it so important that as a child you build that trust muscle? It's because over time, like I shared in different examples, that trust can be broken with people and with situations, right? One that I didn't cover was career, right? All our lives, or, however long we've been on this earth, and when we start our career, we go off thinking that if we work hard, we will rise. We will get more money, more pay to demonstrate our worth, right? Or align with our worth, I get to say. And that we will get the promotions that we're seeking if we work hard and do our work and continue to learn and evolve. And then we don't. Let's say for some reason we don't get the promotion. Maybe it's because we're a woman. Maybe it's because we are a Black or brown person. Maybe it's because, I don't know, the boss likes somebody better. That breaks our trust, right? That's another way that our trust is broken. And what I'm getting at is that the more time we have in building that trust muscle, that willingness, that practice of trusting, the better we are at handling when our trust is broken. See, because some people will shut it down. Some people will say, well, I trusted in that relationship. I got hurt. I'm still not over it. Super duper painful. And I'm not going to do that again. I gotta tell you, I know people that stayed out of relationships for their entire lives after the first, marriage or big relationships didn't work. I know people who just said, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. That was no good for me. It was painful, and have stayed out of relationship. Now that's an extreme case, but I also know a lot of people who got hurt in relationship because of broken trust and just don't trust their future partners, their other partners. And those partners pay for what happened in the last relationship because there's an unwillingness to trust. And so, kind of going back to what this art means, it means that we get to practice. Because if we know that we're born trusting, if we know that inherently within us is the ability to trust, then it's not a question of are we able to trust. We know that that's available to us, right? It's a matter of am I willing to trust? And then if I'm scared to trust, if I have fear around trusting again, then it's a matter of practicing it, perfecting that art of trusting. Does that make sense? Is that kind of cool? It's a different way of looking at it, I think, because trust is a tough one, especially if, like I said, it comes from very early on that your trust was broken. Then you've spent a lot of time not trusting. I mean, think about it. If we can't even trust our parents, if our parents didn't tend to us the way that we needed to be when we were younger, it's going to be really hard to trust other people, right? Our parental relationship is so strong that even if they break our trust, even if they do things that hurt us, even if they do things that cause us a lot of pain, we still want to be in harmony with them. Have you ever felt that? I know that anytime I'm in an, I don't know, like an argument or some sort of, dissension with my parents, and it hasn't happened anytime lately, but it did happen a lot in the past, just because as you're growing up, you're changing and your parents are changing, and there's just a lot of stuff between in the parental relationship. But anytime I was in dissension, I didn't feel quite right. I didn't feel like everything was clicking in my life. And that's because there's this deep desire to be in harmony. Now, I say all that, but I also want to say that it is possible to have a healthy, thriving relationship without having a really strong, positive parental relationship or experience, if you will. That's possible. It's possible once we've resolved the pain and the broken trust and the dissension within ourselves, right? Because sometimes it's not always possible to resolve things with our parents. Either they've moved on from this earth plane and they're not physically here to resolve it, or it doesn't serve you to get back in conversation with them, depending on where they are in their lives, okay? Because it might be more harmful to do that. But it is open and available to you to resolve the pain that you have with your parents within yourself. Sometimes it takes support. Sometimes it takes someone to talk to, but you can heal from that. So that was a sidebar, but I think it was very important. That's the nature of workshops. We kind of go on tangents. And so let me bring it back to the trusting. So we're talking about over time, having experiences in our lives that perhaps have us unwilling to trust. And what does it take to start trusting again? And when we talk about practicing it, we're talking literally about, okay, here's a situation that has presented itself in my life. And let's just go with career. I want this promotion, but I didn't get the last one I went for. But I'm going to practice trust and I'm going to go for it anyway. Doesn't that sound cool? Doesn't that sound like a new opportunity? Yeah. So we understand that it's an innate property to be able to trust. And so when we talk about practice, we're just drawing on that ability to trust because we know it's there. Now, what does it take? Here's the key. What it takes to be willing to draw on that innate trust that's within you, that trust that you were born with and didn't really go anywhere, but just might be latent and being held down because of hurt and pain. What it takes is what I like to call faith, and how I like to define it is a deep inner knowing that you are worthy of being, doing, and having what you want in this life. Let me say that again. Faith is what is required to have that willingness to dig deep and trust and go for that promotion anyway, even though you've hurt in the past. And faith is a deep inner knowing that you are worthy of being, doing, and having all that you want in this life. Isn't that powerful? Now, again, depending on the things that you've been through, it might be challenging to understand that you are worthy of all that you want to be, do, and have in this lifetime. I get that. And sometimes it's just going to require you to say, it's true. Because it's true. It's true. No matter what you've been through, no matter what mistakes you believe you've made, no matter what other people think of you, no matter what your circumstances are, whether you have $1 in the bank or $100,000 in the bank, no matter what, you are worthy of being, doing, and having that which you want in this lifetime. And my ask, if you will, is for you to believe that. Trust is based on beliefs. And then when those beliefs are challenged and sometimes shattered, depending on what we've been through, it can be hard to continue to believe them. But one of the things that remains consistent is our worth, our inherent worth, our humanity, our innate worth. It goes back to the newborn baby. That newborn baby is worthy. That newborn baby was you at one point. And so equals baby equals you equals worthy. And I'm kind of taking another moment here to do that, to kind of connect those dots, because it's a belief that when you have it as your foundation, the belief, I am worthy. In fact, say that a couple times. I am worthy. And say it again. I am worthy. Last time. 3 times a charm. I am worthy. When we believe that and know that deep down in our soul, and sometimes it takes convincing depending on what we've been through, I understand that. But when we understand that deep down in our soul, it is the key to healthy, thriving experiences filled with trust in our lives. It is the key to healthy, thriving experiences in our lives filled with trust and love and an understanding that that which we wish to be, do, and have is ours for the taking. Isn't that incredible? And so I always share with people, people are like, well, where do I start? Let's start with this conversation of, do you believe you're worthy or do you not? And let's start there, because understanding you are worthy is the foundation of healthy, thriving experiences in this lifetime. Yes? Got it? All right. So if you're going to put some of this into practice, the best place to start is that simple affirmation saying, I am worthy. Write it down somewhere on a piece of paper, post it in your room, post it somewhere in your car, anywhere that you will get reminders that you are worthy. Isn't that powerful? So circling back, our faith is what prompts us to go for it anyway, right? So I want the promotion, but I've been hurt in the past, but I'm going to go for it anyway because I have faith that that which is mine to have, be, or do is in the making. All right. Now, why is the promotion example a really good one? It's a really good one because I can paint the picture of how perhaps that previous job that you were going for might not have been the one for you. Perhaps the one that you're going to go for is the one for you. I'll give you a quick example. I have my best friend who was looking for a job. I think it was like going on a couple years. And she was like, I didn't get this one. I didn't get that one. It's very frustrating. And, and then this one is like, I got it, but I didn't really want it. And I said, you know what? You're being prepared for the one, the job that is completely for you. And then, you know where she ended up? She ended up, no lie, she ended up working for Disney. Disney. She had a young son. She moved from Southern Florida to Orlando, bought a house in the town called Celebration. Do you know how fun it is to live in Celebration? Celebration is a town that's owned by Disney. It is a beautiful, beautiful place to live, beautiful place for a young boy to grow and thrive. His backyard was essentially Disneyland. Like he went to any, you name it, whatever park he wanted to get to that particular weekend. It was incredible. So all the other no's that perhaps broke her trust in regards to getting a job that she wanted led to her going for it anyway, continuing to trust that that perfect job is coming, and she went and got it. The dream job. And I might add that we got to go to Disney with her passes multiple times, and that was amazing because it actually led to my first time going to Disney and, of course, my children's first time. So, beautiful story. Let me share the distinction of what a breakdown is so that we can understand that when trust is broken, it's simply a breakdown, which means that which we wanted or expected did not occur. That's all a breakdown is. That which we wanted or expected didn't occur. Now, it'll cause some emotion. It'll cause disappointment, frustration, sadness, maybe sometimes anger, depending on the situation. So you're going to get to have your emotions. I am not by any means telling you don't have the emotions, right? If we're talking about intimate partner isn't faithful, that's emotional. I get it. So have your emotions. What I will say about emotions is process them in a healthy manner. I can't tell you how many people I know will go and stuff those emotions somewhere and never deal with them, or deal with them much later in life, and they've become way bigger, way greater impact on their lives than they ever thought. So, process your emotions in a healthy manner. That means that know what is going to get you through these emotions. Is it going to be talking to someone you trust? Is it going to be going to group support, having a therapist, having a counselor, having a life coach? Is it going to take learning more about the situation that you're hurting, find out, become more knowledgeable? And I think with the knowledge, I'm thinking of like a job. Maybe there was something in the promotion, in the interview that you didn't know. So become more knowledgeable. And that applies if you get a health diagnosis. Become more knowledgeable about how to knock it out, how to get it out of your body. So process your emotions so that they can dissipate and the effect of your emotions isn't so big anymore. Because when we're emotional, I can tell you it's going to be very challenging to draw on that trust again. Does that make sense? Like, too emotional, I ain't trusting. That hurt. Can't do it again. But if we process those emotions, then what the breakdown brings, ultimately, if we process those emotions successfully and in a healthy manner, it brings the breakthrough. Isn't that cool? Before every breakthrough is a breakdown. And so it's important it's critical actually, to process those emotions in a healthy manner so that you can get to the breakthrough. And the breakthrough is achieving that which you wish to be, do, and have in the way that it was meant to happen for you, right? So think about Disney. So if my friend was seeking a breakthrough in the area of getting a new job and moving to a new place to have, a new experience in her life, then the breakthrough was her moving through all of this, the breakdowns, and getting to the breakthrough of having Disney. Okay? So that which is meant for you, sometimes we don't see. Sometimes we might think, but that is meant for me. That job was, sometimes we don't see it. That isn't it. And that the breakthrough is coming. I remember talking with her multiple times, like, you got this. Like, you're preparing yourself for what is meant for you. So that's the breakthrough. Okay? So sometimes we think it's the results. No. The breakthrough is achieving what you want to be, do, or have that is meant for you to have, be, or do. Got it? So let me just give you 5 steps for practicing trust, for the art of trusting. Okay? The first one is seek the lesson in the breakdown. Right? So if you're not getting the promotions, or you're not getting the jobs, or you're not, find out what's going on there. Hey, can you tell me why I didn't get the job? Or can you tell me why I didn't get the promotion? And learn, right? If you're in a relationship where, somebody was not faithful, try to seek the lessons. What happened there, right? I know it wasn't me. I put all in. Maybe it was them. But what are the lessons you really want to learn, right? You want to take from the situation, the experience, that which you can learn from. And anything that has the emotions around it that you want to process in a healthy way. Because that happens. I totally get it. Been there, done that. Step 2 is to accept responsibility for any role that you did play in it. Maybe when you look back at the interview, be like, oh, did I do that? I remember when times were getting rough as an entrepreneur, and me and my husband had all these kids, and I was trying to get another job to help have some extra revenue. And I remember in the interview saying that, and I hadn't interviewed in so long because I was mom life and an entrepreneur. And I remember saying, yeah, I just also need some extra, steady income. No interviewer wants to hear you just trying to do this for the money. And I looked back at it and I said, okay, I kind of blundered there. I didn't end up going for the part-time job for very long, but anyway, I did learn from and accept responsibility for the role that I might have played in not getting that particular job. The third piece is forgive yourself. So if you've done something that led to this breakdown, if you will, forgive yourself. Let yourself off the hook, because being on the hook doesn't support you in moving forward, doesn't support you in trusting that you can still go for that which you want, right? So forgive yourself and let yourself off the hook so that you can open yourself back up. Remember, we're talking about the willingness to trust. Open yourself back up. When you don't forgive yourself, you're shut down. Okay? The fourth step is to reset your intention and match it with a commitment. So now, okay, well, I'm resetting. I still want that next job, that thing that's for me. I still want a healthy, thriving relationship. So you set that intention. Yes, that is what I want. That is what I know I'm worthy of. And I'm going to go for it. And so that go for it is the commitment. Like, match it with a commitment. Like, no kidding. Like, even though I might be a little scared to trust again, I'm going to trust anyway. Isn't that powerful? Set your intention, that what you want. What is it that I'm going for? and match it with a commitment, like, no kidding, I'm going to go for it. All right? I'm going to go apply for that next job. I'm going to go, meet somebody new when the time is right. And then the last piece, number 5, is to have faith. Have faith that it's on its way. Whatever that is, have a deep knowing that which you are meant to be, do, or have is on its way. Because it's on its way to you. Isn't that powerful? So there you have it, the art of trusting. Those are the 5 steps. Work them. Work them and start with one particular thing in your life that you're seeking to achieve or seeking to have. And perhaps you've been withholding trust that you're worthy of it or that you can make it happen. Practice these steps. All right? I will see you next time. This one was fun. I hope